morning everyone, Iain from RTO here. Hope you're all well, and welcome to Then and Now. It's Thursday already. Where are the weeks going? Okay, today's Then and Now was the little pocket history of a band, U2. Formed in Dublin in 1976. The group consists of Bono, The Edge, Adam Clayton and Larry Mullen Jr. They all went to the same school, so they've been together for a long time. I stopped buying U2 albums, I think, after Zooropa. I just didn't like the way they went. So for the later ones for this, I've had to listen to from scratch. So you're going to get a raw interpretation of these later albums. I was quite surprised on some of them, but some of them I wasn't. But this is not about a ranking today. But if you do want me to rank U2, put it in the comments below and we'll add it to the list. So, debut album, released October 1980, produced by Steve Lillywhite, recorded in Windmill Lane Studios, Dublin. He suggested for some of the drumming for Larry Mullen to be playing in a stairwell and smashing bottles and forks against spinning bicycle wheels. Yeah, pretty good, but this is it's just a very creative sort of thing. What Steve Lillywhite did, and he's worked with them, I think, ever since. So let's have a look at this album, Boy. Pretty good album, one I've got. Okay then, first track, I Will Follow. This is a classic U2 tune. Love the drumming from Larry Mullen on this, and some great guitar touches from The Edge. Superb track, fantastic stuff. And the second track is Twilight. Again, another good track. Some nice bass work from Adam Clayton on this, and you've got the nice delicate touches from The Edge on the guitar. Really, really good track. Now, my Gaelic's not very good, and my mate in Ireland will curse me for this, but I'm going to have a go with it. Track 3 is called Cat Dubh or something. Very eerie track, but it's got a lot of atmosphere. Again, the guitar work from The Edge on this is brilliant. Really good guitarist, The Edge. Then we get Into My Heart. This is a pretty solid track again. Again, some nice drumming from Larry Mullen. Something's just fallen off, I can hear it, but we'll have to ignore it. We've got some really nice guitar work from Edge. Bono sounds really good on the vocals. Out of Control, one of my favourite tracks actually by U2. Again, we've got this driving bass line from Adam Clayton, and then delicate touches on the guitar from The Edge. Then Larry comes in on the drums. Fantastic track. Story for the Boys, solid track. Again, great guitar work on this from The Edge. Really good vocal from Bono. Great stuff. Remember, these were only pretty young lads at the time. Excellent stuff. Then we get The Ocean. It's a short piece. It's one of them short pieces. Does it need to be here? I'm not quite sure about that one. A Day Without Me, great guitar riffs and a great solo. Absolutely brilliant track. Another Time, Another Place, another driving bass line from Adam Clayton, who holds this track together. It's that usual where the bass is dominant and everything else works around it. Excellent track. The Electric Company, this is a classic track. Got the great riffs, great drumming from Larry Mullen, absolutely brilliant. And the last track, Shadow and Tall Trees, probably the weakest track on the album. It's one that I've never been particularly fond of. But what I will give it for its merit is, again, the production on it. And the guitar work is sublime. It's really good guitar work, but it's a track that I don't particularly like. Okay, what I think about this album is it's a very iconic album. The production from Steve Lillywhite is fantastic. It's a great album, an album that I play quite a lot. And when they did the remaster of it, it even made this album even better than what the original one is. The remastering this was an absolutely good idea. It still keeps that authenticity, the rawness of it. So yeah, great album. But what do the critics think? And the fans? Well, boy, it was generally received. There was lots of positive reviews. That one of the, in the US, I Will Follow was a single, and it was received very well. Paul Morley, we all know him, of NME, called it honest, direct and distinctive, adding that he found it touching, precocious and full of erratic and modernist conviction. Betty Page of Sound said they achieved a rare mixture of innocence and aggression, and described the album as an overall feeling of loving and care and energy intertwined with simplistic and direct hooks and chords. Absolutely spot on. Lyndon Barder from Melody Maker hailed it as a rich record, writing that Boy is more than just a collection of good tracks assembled in an arbitrary order, and that it had a youthful innocence and confusion. And then Robin Denshaw of The Guardian wrote, it was a strong debut, praising Lillywhite for helping U2 improve since the show that he had seen them on. So the Record Mirror give it 5 stars. Rolling Stone gave it 4, so it must have been good. Then there's Smash Hits give it 8 out of 10. Sounds give it 5. How did it do in the charts? Well, it only got to number 52 in the UK, and it got to 63 on in America. So let's have a look at this and see if we can make any heads or tails of it. Song quality. Very good songs. They do write good songs, well they did in the day. Really enjoy these songs on here. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Production. Gotta remember this was 1980. It's very raw, which I love. I love albums that are raw. But it's a quality raw. The production on this is great. Steve Lillywhite is a good producer. He took U2 from an ordinary band to a really good band. So for that, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. Reception. The press loved it. You know, there were so many good positive reviews of this album. Forget the album where it come in the album charts, because you know I was 80, I was 13, 12, 13, and when we heard U2 we thought they were really good. and you talk about it now of people of a certain age, and when we think about this album now, we say it's a great album. I've got it, I play it a lot. So I am going to give it a reception of 5 out of 5 because it was, within the rock and underground rock and everything, everyone loved it, and we still do. So that gives an RTO ranking of Boy by U2 a 14 out of 15. Very high marks indeed. Okay, as we do on a Thursday, we're going to get into the time machine and we're going to move on 37 years to 2017, to the 14th album released by U2, Songs of Experience. Now, I've never heard this album up until about 4 weeks ago. It was released December the 1st, 2017. Produced by Jack Knifley, Ryan Tedder, with Steve Lillywhite, Andy Barlow, Julian Thomas, Brent Kultz, Paul Epworth, Danger Mouse, Declan Gaffney. This album is to be a companion to U2's previous album, Songs of Innocence, whereas its predecessor explored the group members' adolescence. This is more focused on Bono. The album also features guest appearances from several musician acts, including Haim, Kendrick Lamar and Lady Gaga. Okay, the first track on the album is called Love Is All We Have Left. It's okay. It's got some freaky dance sounds to it. A little bit. No, it goes totally away from U2, this song does. If I had have heard it and I wouldn't have thought it was U2. Lights of Home. This one isn't too bad. You sort of know it's U2. You're the Best Thing About Me. This is good. It's got the touches of old U2, and you can actually hear the drums, and it's the other two tracks so far. The drums are non-existent. It's more techno nonsense, which is a shame because Larry Mullen is a fine drummer. Then we get Out of Your Own Way, mediocre. No drumming as such. It's just more machines. American Soul. This is so political, it's unreal. I don't like politics coming into music at all. You know, if you want to be a politician, be a politician. There's nothing wrong with a protest song, but not deep as that. I don't like it. Except the music, the actual tune is great. It's really heavy. It's proper U2, but I just don't like the lyric content at all and all the recordings. I mean, one thing about Bono, he can get a little bit too much with his stances. A friend of mine went to see them. I think it was on the Zoo TV tour. And I remember him telling me there was people shouting, "Get on with it!" Because he said all he was doing was preaching. And they didn't go to see a preacher, they went to see U2. So that's another story. Okay, Summer of Love. Wishy-washy. It just doesn't do anything for me. Red Flag Day. Great to hear Larry Mullen's drums, that's all I'll say on it. It's not a good song, but at least you can hear Larry Mullen playing the drums on it. The Showman, again, a little bit ordinary. Real drums are non-existent as such. They've made them sound like a tin box. The little things that you give away. You can't tell what they want to be on this. Do they want to be a pop band, a rock band, a dance outfit? Landlady, I don't like it at all. Again, it just does not sound like U2. The Blackout. This is the best track on the album. It's got a great beat to it, and you can hear the guitar works better. Very, very good. Love is bigger than anything in its way. It's okay. It's just filler to me. Then 13. Oh, it's dour. Oh, I want to fall asleep when I listen to that. Okay, my interpretation is over the years they've just lost the way, I think. I don't know what they want to be. They're always trying to keep up with the trends, and I totally get that. But they've gone such a long way from where they started. Blackout is the track that sort of goes back to them roots. I wish they would just do an album that's purely going back to where they started. They seem to have forgotten. Well, I know Bono has. I mean, he's sometimes so far up his own what's it, you know. And I'll never normally slag people off, but some pop stars just get a little bit above themselves. The songs on here are pretty mediocre. It just do nothing for me, and I can understand why I stopped buying U2 albums. So that's what I think of it. What did the critics think of this? It was received generally with mixed reviews from the critics. Mark Beaumont of NME found that the band are old masters pumping up whatever the kids are buying, comparing portions of the albums to Bastille and Kanye West. So that he concluded that U2 have built a stadium rock cruise liner that they've zero interest in rocking and experience. It is 50 minutes of very plain sailing indeed. Dave Slackoff of Consequences of Sound, the album was too often finds the band retreating from well-worn material. He said that the lyrical rewrites to reflect political climate resulted in the album being full of references that can feel shoehorned in. Colin Marsh of Pitchfork said the Songs of Experiences is a shameless effort of four men in their late 50s to muster a contemporary. Oh, I can't say that. I'm still bunged up. But it's just they're trying to go for a youthful sound. Fans didn't mind it. Got to number 5 in the UK and number 1 in the Billboard. All Music gave it 2 and a bit stars. Sound of Consequence give it a C minus. The Daily Telegraph 4. The Guardian 4 stars. The Independent gave it 2. Mojo gave it 4. Well, that's the thing. NME give it 2. Pitchfork 5.3. Q give it 4. And Rolling Stone give it 4.5. Let's put the nuts and bolts in this. Song quality. I've got some interesting lyrics, but mostly it's regurgitating old stuff and just rewriting, and it is very political. It's probably one of the most political rock albums written by Bono. So I'm only going to give it a 3 out of 5. Production. Again, it's well produced, except there's too many of them. You know, you don't need about 6 people to produce an album, because it gets confusing what direction they're getting pulled in. You can see in the sound that some of the drums is non-existent, and the ones where you can hear Larry Mullen, I think that's Steve Lillywhite. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Reception. okay, the fans liked it, but I think these are just. I think with fans, if it's got a certain band's name on it, they'll buy it, and I'm guilty of that sometimes. But there are certain bands that you just like U2. When the last album I brought by them, I just said, well, what's happened here? This is not what I like. But I'm going to only give it a 3 out of 5. It is not the best album. Listening to their other ones, their later ones, there are some better albums that I've never heard and I quite like. So 3 out of 5. Okay, then this gives the Consequences. What's it? Songs of Experience. Gives this an RTO ranking of 10 out of 15. So boy, won today. Purely because it is a brilliant album. It blows this one out of the water, without a doubt. Okay, a quick sip of coffee and then we'll go through their discography. Okay then, after Boy, a year later in 1981, they released October. Another great album. Starts off with Gloria. Great little track this is. Got great bass line, brilliant stuff. Then we get I Fall Down. Then we get another of my favourite tracks, I Threw a Brick Through a Window. Great rock and roll, brilliant. And then we get Rejoice, Fire, Tomorrow, October. A little bit political, but very moving, of course. Great track though. With a Shout, in brackets Jerusalem. Okay, good little track. Stranger in a Strange Land. It's got some of the nicest bass line from Adam Clayton and some great guitar work from the Edges, of course. Scarlet. And then the last track is That All? Great track with some great drumming from Larry Mullen and some great guitar effects from the Edge. We had a little bit of a break and then the next album came out in 1983, War. Good album. Opens up with Sunday Bloody Sunday. Controversial song, but a brilliant song. Then we get Seconds. Then we get New Year's Day. Great track. Love the piano at the beginning of that, with that bass. Great vocal from Bono. Then we get Like a Song. Pretty good. Drowning Man. The Refugee. Two Hearts Beat as One. Red Light Surrender. And the anthemic 40. Really good live, that track. Then next year, 1984, we get the Unforgettable Fire. A Sort of Homecoming. More classic U2, more great riffs from the Edge. Then we get the iconic song Pride in the Name of Love, firm favourite. Then we get Wire. The Unforgettable Fire, of course, really good track. Promenade, pretty cool. 4th of July, another classic. Little short track, but classic. Then we do get a classic, Bad. It is one of my favourite songs by U2. Best version of this is the version they did at Live Aid, without a doubt. Indian Summer Sky, pretty good. Elvis Presley, in America, pretty cool track. And then MLK, great vocal from Bono on that. Great tribute to Martin Luther King. Okay, we move on to 1987. This is when I think they really hit the ground running with this album, The Joshua Tree. Starts off with Where the Streets Have No Name. One of the greatest intros to a rock song. It's great live as well. Then we get I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. Great track, catchy tune, always a favourite. With or Without You, quite a moving little track. Then we get one of my favourite tracks, Bullet the Blue Sky. Oh, great track. Running to Stand Still. These are all great tracks. Red Hill Mining Town, In God's Country, Trip Through the Wires, One Tree Hill, Exit, Mother of the Disappeared. Great album. I don't want to go too much in it just in case someone wants me to do a full album ranking of U2, but it's a pretty good album. It's up on the wall somewhere, the cover. One of my favourite, well, I'll say it's one of my favourite albums. Then in 1988 we got this mixture of live and studio. From 1988, Rattle and Hum, got a film with it. Opens up with a live version of Helter Skelter. They actually do a very good version of it, one of the better ones. And we get Van Diemen's Land, absolutely corker. Great song, Desire. Hawk Moon 269, pretty good as well. A really good live version of All Along the Watchtower. A pretty cool version of I've Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. Freedom of My People, another good track. Silver and Gold, love that one. Live version of Pride in the Name of Love. Then we get the brilliant Angel of Harlem, I love that. And then we get a lovely track done with Bono and Bob Dylan, Love Rescue Me. I love that. When Love Comes to Town, BB King's on this, fantastic stuff. Heartland, God Part 2, The Star Spangled Banner, Veg doing a great version of that, which goes straight into the best version of Bullet the Blue Sky. Love this version. It's got so much more guts to it than the one on Joshua Tree. It's a great track all round, but the live version is the definitive version. And then we get All I Want Is You. Then we had to wait till 1991 for another album, Achtung Baby. The sound's starting to change. Opens up with Zoo Station. Love that opening riff. Good stuff. We've got a strong track, even better than The Real Thing, with Brian Eno. Then we get One, classic, great track. Until the End of the World, another solid track, some great guitar work from The Edge. Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses, great vocal from Bono on that. So Cruel, pretty sound stuff. The Fly, love that opening riff on that. Mysterious Ways, another good track. Trying to throw your arms around the world, it's okay. Ultraviolet, it's okay. Atrabat, okay. Love Is Blindness, pretty mediocre. 1993, this is the last album I brought. Zooropa. Zooropa, Babyface, Numb, Lemon. Didn't like them at all. Stay. Not bad. One of the better tracks on the album. Daddy's Gonna Pay for Your Crashed Car. Some Days Are Better Than Others. The First Time, Dirty Day. And then we get The Wanderer, starring Johnny Cash. Don't know what's on there for because it's not very good. And that was the last time I brought an album because I was so disappointed with it. Then in 1997 we got Pop, Discotheque. Oh, I don't like that. Do You Feel Loved, Mofo, If God Will Send His Angels, Staring at the Sun. This song does actually go back to the old days and it sounds pretty good. You can hear the drums on it. Last Night on Earth isn't too bad. Gone Miami, the Playboy Mansion. If you wear that velvet dress, please wake up, dead man. Nothing memorable about that album at all. Then year 2000, All That You Can Leave Behind. Beautiful Day. I like that track. Always have liked that track. Pretty cool track. Then we get Stuck in the Moment, You Can't Get Out Of. Yeah, that's pretty good. And then the rest of the album is just, they don't know what they want to do. So we've got Elevation, Walk On, Kite, A Little, In a Little While, Wild Honey, Peace on Earth, When You Look at the World, New York and Grace. Again, not very memorable. 2004, How to Dismantle, An Atomic Bomb. Now this, I was surprised at. I'd only heard one track off it, Vertigo. It's a very heavy track and I always liked it. Miracle Drug, no, don't like that one. Then Sometimes You Can't Make It On Your Own. I like this, it's quite a genteel song. I like that one a lot. Love and Peace or Else, no. City of Blinding Lights, great to hear Larry Mullen drumming, and his drums are prominent on that, proper good stuff. All Because of You, another stonking track, love that one. A Man and a Woman, no. Crumbs Under Your Table, a solid track. One Step Closer, Origin of Species, and Yeah Well, awful. But I did pull off the tracks into a little playlist of the ones I like off that album, because there are some good solid tracks on that. Then in 2009 we got No Line on the Horizon. First track is called No Line on the Horizon. Doesn't do anything for me, it's just mediocre, churning out stuff for the sake of it. Magnificent, Moment of Surrender. Unknown Caller, definitely goes back to the old days. Wish they'd do more of that, because it sounds great, that does. I'll Go Crazy If You Don't Go Crazy Tonight. William I Am involved with that, and you can tell it's awful. Get Your Boots On, great track. It's a rock track, it's what U2 started out doing, good rock, alternative rock. I just wish they'd do this again, because it's great. That's a great track. Stand Up, comedy, hey, it's not too bad. Fez Being Born, no. White as Snow, Breathe, and Cedars of Lebanon. Then we get Songs of Innocence from 2014. First track, The Miracle of Joey Marone. I like this. It's got quite a hooky riff. It's very Ramones in places. Every Breaking Wave, no. California, Songs of a Sermon. Iris. Awesome this is. Let Larry loose on the drums and it sounds brilliant. Then we get Volcano, again another good track. That combination of Clayton and Mullen, always good. Tight engine room there, and they're allowed to have a little bit more freelance on that, and it was pretty good. Raised by Wolves, Cedarwood Road, Sleep Like a Baby Tonight, This Is Where You Can Reach Me, The Troubles. It's all right in places. Now and again they pull off a good track, but most of it is too dancey. I mean, I can't understand why you would go from being a rock band to a some mediocre rock dance thing. I mean, when you get someone writing songs and they put themselves down as Danger Mouse, it says it all, really, doesn't it? I'm afraid I'm still old school U2 and always will be. Um, they were a great band. They had the world at their feet, and they just. I think what bands do, because they've become so popular, they know they can do what they want and people will buy it. Unless it's happened. There's a little bit of arrogance with Bono these days. I wish he'd strip all away that arrogance, go into the studio and make a decent rock album. You know, it's not much to ask for, is it? Okay. Bit controversial, I'm afraid, but there we go. If you don't agree with me, I do apologise, but I know there's a lot of new fans out there that probably are the other way round, that they prefer this U2 to the earlier U2, and I get that. I totally get that. But someone like me that was there when they started and sort of really liked what they were doing, and I've just seen them, just for me, they've gone downhill all the way. But they still put a great show on. It's funny, I've got more of their live albums, the later live albums, because they are really good, and I will do a show on their live material, because they have brought, their sound is great on them old tracks. So I think after Christmas we'll do a U2 live show, because, you know, I've given them a bit of a hard time on this one, but I shall, in the next time we do U2, I will do that. But again, if you want me to rank these albums, and I might be able to give a better insight on these tracks for you. Okay, before we go, don't forget, Christmas quiz, 23rd of December. Just give me a shout at the email and I'll send you a form. We'll be back later for album artwork. We're looking at the album artwork of Dio. Then we have the weekly update. And then tomorrow, Friday, got a live album ranking. And we're looking at going a bit metal, bit of thrash, bit of Metallica tomorrow. Looking forward to that one. And we got a new album review. I'm getting through them, guys. Tomorrow we're looking at Roger Taylor's new album, Outsider. While I'm on the mention, next week we won't be doing an album review because I've got a special, but I've just started listening to the new Bob Plant album with Alison Krauss, so that's coming up as well. So we're starting to get through some of these new albums. So we'll be back later. Take care for now.